Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome to Darwin's Journey here on Board Game Arena. For those who are not familiar, Board Game Arena is a website where you can play online digital adaptations of many recent board games with automatic rules enforcement, which can be very nice for some of these heavier Euro games that I like. And I think it's pretty rad as a service. Those of you who watch the Sunday streams know that Amabel and I usually open the pre-stream by playing a little two-player game here on BGA, and I thought it would be a good idea to bring some of the solo modes of some recent games to the channel this way, because I kind of miss doing board game content. It's been a while, I feel like, since I've done a lot of solo board game stuff, and the automatic rules of some of these adaptations make it a lot easier to play some of those games that I like. Because if you watched the older solo board game stuff, you know, sometimes it involved moving an awful lot of components around the table, and it could just get a little fiddly. This is, as you'll see here, this is a very nice, clean implementation of this somewhat complicated game. So this is Darwin's Journey, a game thematically based on, of course, Darwin on the HMS Beagle going to the Galapagos Islands, working on the theory of evolution. You know, kind of loosely. How much does a board game ever really hew to its themes? At its heart, this is a worker placement game played over the course of 5 rounds. You can see here, this is our personal player board. We are in yellow with these workers here. Our automated opponent, Alfred, has a player board as well. Down here, he is playing with the blue pieces. This map has on it the islands themselves and also our round marker, the HMS Beagle, this little brown ship, which will sail to the east over the course of the game, ending up over here on the final round. And each round, Alfred and I will alternate turns placing workers onto this sort of big central worker placement board. The heart of this thing really is a pretty simple worker placement engine. There's a lot of iconography, but don't worry, we're going to do a sort of a rough, simple explanation of the rules here so you can follow along. And by the end of the first round, you'll have this thing down front to back. So, when it is our turn, we will be taking one of our 4 workers and placing them onto one of the lenses on this board. There's a couple of different types of lenses. You have magnifying glasses of various shapes. Anything with a handle on it is a magnifying glass. Magnifying glasses are worker placement spaces that can hold any number of workers. These smaller circular loop type lenses are exclusive worker placement spaces. They can only hold 1 worker. When we go to place a worker, if we place a worker onto a diary, a book that already has a worker anywhere on it, we have to pay a 3 coin penalty. That is going to be a very significant part of the game. You do not start with much money, and there's not a lot of good ways to earn money. We will always be broke. Kind of like real life, I guess. And let's just talk about what these spaces do in sort of ascending order of complexity. So down here at the bottom on a tiny little book, we have 2 spaces that allow you to place additional lenses. You'll note there are some circular spots on these books that don't actually have lenses in them, and so they're not actions that you can take at the beginning of the game. But Alfred and I each have 6 lenses marked with our player color that can be placed onto these spaces with this action to unlock them and let players take them in the future. In order to place a lens onto one of these spaces, you have to pay the amount of coins indicated. Anytime you see a coin with a red number in it, that's a cost. And when we place such a lens, we also get to immediately take the associated action that's listed next to it. And I'll explain all the iconography here as we get to these various actions. Another thing to note, critical thing to note about these player-colored lenses is whenever Alfred plays on one of our lenses, we get a coin from the bank. Whenever we play on one of Alfred's lenses, he gets a coin from the bank. So establishing a couple of lenses early can be a good way to get some money flowing. It's also very expensive to do, so you kind of already have to have some money figured out. We'll talk about it. This is going to be our major struggle through the early game, is having enough money. Up above that, we have the Book of Specialty Actions. So most of the actions on these books have some little wax seals next to them. You can see like this magnifying glass has a green one, this magnifying glass has a blue one, and these specialty actions have a variety of seals. These are requirements for workers to be placed on these spaces. The workers must have those seals. You can see right now, one of our workers has a purple seal, and our other workers have room to acquire little wax seals from this this scroll area. These represent sort of like study and advancement in various areas. Basically, each of our workers is going to have to specialize and gain competence in order to be able to take cool actions. At the beginning of the game, each worker is going to only have one seal to start with, so these cool specialty actions are off the table at first. We'll talk about them as they become more relevant to the game. But note that each of these is only a single exclusive worker space. Okay, up here on these books, these are where most of the actions of the game are going to be played. This green action here allows you to move explorers around the islands. So anytime you see a little green circle with a boot in it and a number, it means move an explorer up to that number of spaces. So down here on the islands, you can see we've started with explorers on the westernmost island, and we will be able to get explorers onto the other islands over the course of the game. And whenever we get the boot action, we can move our explorer some number of spaces and gain whatever reward we land on. So a lot of these are pretty straightforward, just like gain some coins. Anytime you're gaining coins, you'll see they put a plus by it to help differentiate it from the costs. These large brown tokens are research tokens. So landing on one of these will allow us to research a species in the Galapagos. We will take a research token and place it onto the grid of stuff on our board, on the space that matches the thing that we stopped on. You can see there are 4 different types of discoveries: reptiles, fossils, birds, and plants. And then they're in 4 different colors as well. They don't do anything for us by themselves. Just having them isn't worth anything, but they enable some of the few other actions we'll be talking about. This space gains us a purple temporary knowledge token. A temporary knowledge token can be spent when you place a worker as a temporary wax seal to allow a worker to do something they're not quite qualified for, which is how we'll access actions like this in the early game. If we land on one of these tents, we are allowed to place a tent from our player board onto one of the little rectangles attached to the tent space, and then we gain whatever reward is depicted on the left side. These are the tents here. It's a little hard to tell in the board game arena adaptation because we're looking at them from directly above. But whenever we're allowed to place a tent, we take the topmost tent that we still have, and as we remove tents, we'll gain the rewards that are associated with them. So you can see a little bit of money, then maybe getting to move an explorer, and then some other stuff we haven't discussed yet. But overall, just placing tents is a way to get rewards. And then is there anything else depicted here that we really need to talk about? No, there's a couple of icons here that we haven't explained yet, but we'll explain them when we get to the actions that are more associated with them. So green boot, just move around the island gaining rewards. The blue action allows us to move our ship in a very similar way. Anytime we get a blue circle with a ship in it and a number, it means move your ship up to that many spaces. So you can see some of these spaces on the ship track down here have similar rewards, species to study or places to little islands to camp on or whatever. But the other thing that's important about the position of your ship is where it is relative to the Beagle. At the end of each round, we're going to have a scoring objective depicted here at the bottom of the board. First round, 6 victory points for each reptile specimen you've studied. At the end of the second round, 4 points for each tent you've placed, and so on. And when we score those objectives, you'll get those points, and then your score for them will be decreased based on the number of these little minus point penalties that are between you and the beagle. So if you're not keeping up with the beagle as it's sailing across the board, you're scoring fewer and fewer points from the end of round objectives as it gets further away from you. In addition, when we move our ship onto a portion of the map board, you can see where these divisions are. When we move the ship onto a portion of a map board that contains an island that we don't have an explorer on yet, we get to place an explorer onto it immediately so that we can take those green move around actions on these further islands, which are worth, they have progressively better and better stuff on them as you continue to move east. The yellow action here is the correspond with the sort of the home office action. Whenever you see a yellow circle with an envelope and a number in it, it means place that many stamps, up to that many stamps, on one of the correspondence envelopes. So at the end of each round, each of these envelopes will be scored. Whichever player has the largest number of stamps on it will get the reward depicted in the first place spot. And if the other player has some stamps, they'll get the reward in the second place spot. You do not get rewards for an envelope unless you have at least one stamp on it. And these are just, little incremental rewards over the course of the game. But like this down here is one of the few reliable sources of income, playing the envelope that gives money. So this is a thing we have to care about a bunch. I don't want to overstate the difficulty of maintaining cash, but like things get ugly. Things get ugly. You are always, always desperate for money, in my experience. I have only played the game a couple of times. I'm certainly not an expert, which you'll see when I lose to the bot by like 100 points. Finally, the red action here is the action that allows us to add new seals to our workers. So we can grab one of the seals off of one of these scrolls here, paying the cost to the left of it. So the scrolls that are closer to the top are cheaper. And we can add them to the leftmost open space on one of our workers. As the workers get filled up, it starts to cost more and more to train them further, but you get some pretty excellent rewards. So first of all, as you can see here, there are improved versions of each action that require more seals to access. They also require that somebody has, played a lens on them, but we'll want to be able to take these more efficient actions at some point during the game. In addition, each worker has the ability to gain the silver and gold distinctions by getting to 4 or 6 stamps, and you can see here 4 or 6 seals. And you can see here, there are extra rewards for workers who have the higher distinctions when they play on the tiles. So, or when you place them in a worker placement space. So it behooves us to get our workers very developed. It is a non-trivial cost to do so, of course. There's a lot of coins here. But a powerful worker has a lot of benefits, and also is actually worth points at the end of the game. Each worker that has at least 5 seals at the end of the game is worth 3 points, and each worker with a full 6 seals is worth 7. The purple seal is wild. Every time you use the worker, you can use it as whatever color you want. So we have the one worker with the guaranteed purple seal, and then the others who will have to accumulate stuff over the course of the game. Finally, we have a few other magnifying glasses here. Over here, we have the place that is ordinarily the action for fiddling with the turn order. In single player, you do not have the ability to change the turn order. Alfred is always the first player. So in single player, all this space does is gain you 3 coins. It's not a thing you want to be doing. It feels pretty low value as an action, but sometimes you are just that desperate for money. This action down here, this magnifying glass, gains you 2 coins and also an objective tile. These objective tiles get placed in your objective area up here. And when you accomplish them, turn them face down into one of these objective spots, you gain the rewards depicted to the left of the slot. There are a bunch of different rewards, things like, selecting a tent you previously played and getting its value again for free, or in this slot, unlocking a fifth worker. Some of the stuff is pretty powerful, and in addition, you can see there's a victory point value associated with each slot if it is filled with a completed objective. So you just have to, in order to complete an objective, you just have to have the things depicted. You do not pay resources for objectives. Is just have 10 coins on you and also have placed 2 lens tokens at the same time. This is have 2 yellow specimens researched and at least 20 points on the victory point track up here. So, over the course of the game, we will have the opportunity to acquire a number of objectives. Anytime you see this little camera icon, that means gain an objective. And then finally, we have the 2 lens spaces that interact with the museum. That's what this is. This is the museum. Once we have a specimen researched, once we have a research token on it on our home board here, we can take this action to deliver our study back home to a museum. When we place, you can see some of the specimens start with research tokens on them at the beginning of the game. Those are these ones that are more filled in color. When we place a new research token into an empty space, what we do is we look at the other spaces in the row and column that token's being placed in. For each empty space, we gain a coin, and for each space that's full up, we gain a book. Anytime you gain a book, you move your token forward on this little book track. This represents sort of like your study of the theory of evolution. And at the end of the game, your position on the book track is going to be worth a bunch of points in a way that I will explain in just a moment. In addition, each time you'll notice there's a coin to the right of each of these rows. The first person to deliver something to each row immediately earns a coin, and that's a big deal because you are constantly broke. So early on, delivering specimens to rows that are mostly empty can be a good source of cash. It's definitely a thing that I will be trying to do. And then later in the game, as the museum fills in more, it becomes more of a source of movement on the theory track, which is just fine. This action over here, this exclusive action down here, allows you to research something from the museum. So you get to pick something that's already represented in the museum and place a research token onto your personal board in that spot. The research tokens on your personal board don't do anything by themselves. They're not worth points at the end of the game or anything. So there's not a lot of reasons to take this action, but occasionally you will get an objective like this that requires you to have at least 2 yellow specimens or something like that, and you'll have reason that you might want to copy some information that's already known out of the museum back to your personal board. So let's talk about this book track. At the end of the game, we're going to calculate the value of the museum. The museum, I think it's called the museum multiplier or whatever. As you can see here, it's 2 points plus 1 point for each row that is completely filled in the museum here. And then each player is going to multiply that amount by the highest book multiplier space that they have passed. So, in theory, if the museum were to be completely filled and you were to get your cube all the way to the end of the track here, this track could be worth 6 times 15, 90 points, which is an appreciable portion of a full score. That's a lot of points relative to the final scores, which tend to be... I've only played a couple games of this, but the last game I played against normal mode Alfred here, the blue difficulty Alfred, ended... It was 240 something to 140 something, if that gives you a sense of how many points 90 is. I was the 140 something. I lost by over 100 points, and I am hoping to do slightly better than that this time around. So we're going to just, like I said, 5 rounds of worker placement. We really don't have that many workers. You do not take a very large number of actions over the course of this game, and it's difficult to engage with everything on the board in the very limited time that we have access to. But the secret to doing a good job here, I think, is going to be trying to take actions that telescope into other actions. Things where, like, you know, I move on the board and that allows me to place a tent, and placing the tent allows me to place some stamps and that sort of thing. And also to not run out of money. To not run out of money seems tremendously important. So, without further ado, let's actually try to play this game, shall we? The last stage of setup that we have to complete here before we actually get going is we have to select our crew cards. So you can see here we've been handed 5 crew cards. We will be selecting 3 of these to keep. Each crew card has a seal in the top right that will go onto one of our worker rows. So each one of our workers is going to start with a seal granted by a crew card. And then at some point during the game, each one of our workers can claim 1 crew card if they have the depicted seals in their seal row. And when they do that, we will immediately get the reward at the bottom. So we're going to be trying to build into these configurations that we choose. These are a little strange. So this one is gain and immediately perform the actions on a crew card in front of any player. This is probably a little bit more exciting in multiplayer. Alfred's not going to have any crew cards, so this would really only let you use one of your other crew cards, in which case, you know, you could have built for that yourself. I don't think we're going to be taking her. I do think we want to start with somebody having a red seal, because we want to be able to get more seals, obviously. So she lets you place another purple seal on one of your people without paying any costs. This guy just moves you 5 spaces up on the book track. This is a little bit more exciting, I think. And then here we have access to some blue seals. This is place a lens without paying the costs. That seems pretty powerful. Those are highly specialized workers, though. And then, honestly, maybe we do want to take her just to have access to a 3rd color. Maybe. I guess I don't hate that. And then she gives us a little bit of wiggle room as far as accomplishing our other crew members if we can't get their, like, very specific sets of seals. I will say I have never come even close to accomplishing all 3 of my crew cards. I don't think it's super likely to happen, so we're not, like, losing anything by not picking 3 distinct bonuses. Yeah, I think let's go ahead and take her, just so that we're starting with 3 different colors to work with here. Okay, and then we also pick a pair of starting objectives. We get a silver and a gold. We have to pick one of the vertically aligned pairs here. So, have 2 temporary knowledge tokens and a fossil specimen, and also 2 yellow seals and at least 4 evolution points. It means have moved 4 spaces on the evolution track, the book track. Or 8 victory points and a bird specimen, and also some blue seals and a tent. I'm looking to see how these, like, interact with the long-term objectives that we're trying to score. You know, there are reasons that we want to place tents and get blue seals. I think let's take this pair. So, with the objectives, before we here, Alfred's going to take his first turn, and we'll talk about how Alfred's cards work exactly in just a second here. But for the objectives, we have 2 reserve spaces where we can keep objectives off of our board. When we accomplish one of these objectives, we will place them into a space of the appropriate color face down and get the rewards. If we were to acquire more objectives right now, there are only 2 reserve spaces here, so we would have to place them actually into a space on the board, and there they shall remain. And we only get the reward next to them if we manage to achieve them and turn them over. It's nice to have things in your reserve because you can be a little bit more You can make the decision as to what exactly you want to score with them at the time that you complete them. But if we acquire too many objective tiles too fast, we're going to have to make some decisions and just hope some things about the future. So, Alfred played on this book, the book that contains the green and blue actions. So we would have to pay coins now if we wanted to play either of these. Probably not the strongest start. If I'm honest, I kind of think we want to start red, right? Let's power up our workers and then get them rolling. Although, maybe the way we want to start red is by placing a personal lens into the red area, because that way we could take the this slightly superior action that places 2 lenses instead of just 1. I think I like that, and there's no seal cost associated with this, so we could do this with any of our workers. I don't know that I have particularly strong feelings about this. I might use the blue one just because the blue one's, this book is already expensive to play on. Yeah, let's just go ahead and place a lens. So we're going to spend all 4 of our initial dollars here, all 4 of our initial coins, to place a personal lens there and immediately take the cool action that we've just unlocked. So we have no money. But the second lens we place is going to be placed with a 1 coin discount. So let's see, how do we want to do this? I think we want to try to match her as early as possible, right? So let's pick up a red seal. And I think just also a green seal. Like we'll just work on her right away. And this 1 coin cost here will be covered by the discount. What I like about this is it gets us close to having a worker with that silver extra value distinction early on. It does not get us our second blue seal. That goal isn't right away, but obviously, like if we could get ourselves into position to unlock, to finish a gold objective and use it to unlock that 5th worker, it would be nice. Since the 5th worker can never acquire seals, obviously it's not like the most valuable thing, but it's still cool. Okay, so interestingly, he did not play. He played the specialty book, where he researched any one specimen. So that means this book is still 0 cost to play on. Did I mention the stamps? We take the stamps and we place them on the envelopes, right? When we take stamps, we take the stamps from our stacks here. You can see we have 3 stacks of 4. And whenever we deplete one of the stacks, we immediately get the reward depicted next to it, which might be relevant here. So part of me wants to take a seal placement action, but it is a little awkward. So we could have our two red seal worker play the action that we just unlocked, which requires 2 red seals, and we get that action a second time. But because we have no coins on hand right now, we wouldn't be able to improve the function of that worker, because obviously, like, the red seals that we need are in the expensive portion of the board. But we could use this to put 2 seals on one of the other workers. Yeah, that probably makes sense. So we're going to take our 2 red seal worker and take this 2 red seal action. So we have to place. Well, actually, hold on, undo this. Do I want to, because like we're going to have to, if we do this, we're going to have to play just the 2 free spaces. I won't be able to put them both on the same worker because the second seal that we take is going to have to be one that costs at least 1. So that's going to eat up our discount. And then we would have to pay a coin to place it into the 3rd slot on a worker. That said, just like giving people a couple of seals of their color is not like a bad play. What do the specialty actions require? 2 green and 2 yellow, 2 yellow and 1 green, 2 blue and a yellow, 2 red and 2 green. These are very expensive. This action's really powerful. I guess that's why it costs so much to unlock. Here's the thing. I like that idea. I like getting more seals, obviously. But I also think it's very important to make sure we get some stamps out because I would really like to be able to get this income and make sure that we have the money to place workers where we need to place them next turn. So for right now, what I'm going to do is just play the stamps action with our single yellow seal worker. We're going to take 2 stamps from one of these from one of these actions. I think maybe the one that lets us place a seal with a 2 coin discount. I'm going to really focus on this. And we're going to place those 2 stamps here. It would be really cool if we could be first place on this. Okay, Alfred is going to pay his 3 coins to put 2 stamps down on a different envelope. That works just fine for me. So we have 2 workers left. And now all of the books have at least 1 worker on them. So no matter where we place, it's going to cost us coins. If we want to get victory points at the end of this turn, we're going to need a reptile specimen. And this first specimen here on this island is a reptile. So we could go get coins and then use our last worker to play the movement. Additionally, I mean, we're probably going to get money, right? I have run us exactly out of money. So if we want to play on one of these books, unfortunately, we do have to play the go get 3 coins space. And if we want to work toward our objectives, yeah, we need to get blue seals, which we'll do in the near future. We could still go for this. We also could move with the intent of placing a tent, although we can't reach any of the tent sites just yet. It's a tough call. And part of the reason I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do once we have the money is we have to make a decision right now about which worker it's going to make sense to use for what. I guess whatever we do, I was about to say whatever we do, it's probably going to be the 1 seal version of it, but honestly, I would do this even if it does mean that we just have to play in the 2 open spaces. I think we're going to take this worker, place him in the sad location to get the 3 coins. I don't feel good about that, but I do want to make sure that we're allowed to play in action. All right, he's just moving his boat forward. And then, you know what? I think I am going to do this. We're going to pay the 3 coins, exactly all of our money, to get some more seals. So we're going to place this blue seal on the blue person. And then we're going to... Our worker who started with yellow wants both red and blue. What do I think would be more useful to have more of? I feel like we're very committed to the seals this game. I guess let's get another red. At the end of the round, all of the seals are going to be moved upward as much as possible, and then new seals will be dealt down to the empty spaces at the bottom. So we're moving up a lot of blues and some red, which will hopefully let us continue to push forward here on our goals. All right, so end of the round. Alfred gets his correspondence goals of some book. We get a correspondence goal of some money, which is great. The HMS Beagle rewards, we don't get any points because we didn't study any lizards. And here's that process, like I said, dealing out the new seals. We haven't really talked about how Alfred's mechanics work. I might just sort of gloss over a lot of that for this first game to avoid... Things are complicated enough already, right? Okay, so Alfred has done the first delivery to the museum. Now note, this space allows you to perform one delivery and then a second delivery at a cost of 3 coins. He had the 3 coins and the 2 specimens, so he has done both. This here is the, I think I forgot to say this earlier, but this is a very useful thing. This is the activity log. It is a full reckoning of what everybody's doing. So you can see here the effects of people's actions in case you're ever confused why something is occurring. This is a good place to look. So let's talk about options here. We have now the 2 blue seals. It would probably be a good idea to try to place a tent and get this going. And this is the round where tents are the Beagle scoring objective. So we are going to need to move our person on the island, the explorer, or our boat forward to grab some campsites. If we do move forward, we're either going to get the ability to place some stamps if we put something down at this island campsite, or take an objective and gain 3 coins. I think those are both pretty good. What are the objectives right now? Are they things that we're like pretty accomplished in? Have 2 blue seals and also a red specimen is totally a thing we could do. We do have the 2 blue seals for this already. This is have a yellow and a green and also 3 lens tokens down. Obviously, we're not super close on that lens token bit, but we do have the yellow and green seals for that as well. So we're doing okay on a bunch of these metrics. Going to get the seals and also gaining some money wouldn't be bad. It would take us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boat moves to do that. Or 1, 2, 3 moves on foot. When you're moving your explorer, you just step right over spaces that have the other player in them. So I hate to burn all of our money, but if we did play another lens token, we could spend our 4 money, get the lens down here, get 3 movement, and walk all the way to the place where we drop the tent off, get our 2 stamps, place those 2 stamps, and get a seal at a discount. And I actually think that could be really good. Yeah, let's do that. So the question is, do we want to use our purple seal guy for this, just since he's got the fewest seals, or do we want to commit somebody who has 2 seals to an action that doesn't actually require any seals? I don't think it would necessarily be bad to, like, this one's just 2 individual different colors. Yeah, let's commit the yellow-red worker to playing another lens, and then we will play a lens right there. And hopefully Alfred will start placing on our lenses. Should make my life a lot easier. Okay, so we move 3 spaces. When we cross the little ribbon that has 1 point on it, obviously we gain a point. And then we place our tent here, and placing a tent there lets us also place 2 stamps. Let's take our 2 stamps from that location. And then I think I'm going to put the 2 stamps on this envelope. Even if Alfred plays on this one, we're still going to get 2 points. Just having a stamp here guarantees we're getting at least the 2 coins. And I'm going to be greedy and try to get as much reward here as possible. Okay, and then because we have successfully accomplished this thing, we get to take a seal with a discount of 2. We also have finished this goal now. Placed a tent and 2 blue wax seals. So we'll place this on our board too, but just a second. Let me do the seal thing first. So I think we want to place a 4th seal for the lady we're developing. With a 2 coin discount, we can take this 1 coin seal and place it in this 1 coin slot. And now we have the silver distinction on that worker. Unfortunately, we don't have any coins to allow us to put our finished objective into either of these slots. This one unlocks a 5th worker. This one lets you place a purple wax seal without paying any costs. Obviously, those are pretty good. Our other options here are 8 victory points. And if you get both of the objectives spaces in the last column, you get an additional 4 victory points on top of that. This is 4 points at the end of the game, and each one of the penalties from the beagle being ahead of you is reduced to only 2 points instead of whatever's printed on it. But I think we're going to be taking this one. The penalty for playing on an occupied diary is reduced by 1 for the rest of the game, so we only pay 2 coins for that instead of 3. That seems like a winner to me, and it is still also 2 points at the end of the game. I think that was a very productive turn. That's the kind of thing we're hoping to see more of. Okay, and then Alfred immediately plays on our new lens. And that's pretty rad, in my opinion. So, I sure would love to take actions that generate money. I don't know how many of those we have available to us, but wouldn't it be cool? Well, actually, so now that we have the silver distinction here, let's talk about what that gives. On the green, blue, and yellow books here, the spaces, it just lets you do one more thing. On the red space, you get to take an additional seal. No discount to it. And since we no longer have free discount spaces, obviously it wouldn't be very good for us here. But on the specialty book, the silver distinction bonus is get 2 coins. So if we could unlock this, actually this is like a high priority for us, I think, because we have developed most of the seals that we will need to work that. But I guess for the moment, it's pretty hard to take advantage of our silver distinction. We could place some seals. Oh, we're not totally out of money. We have 1 coin. So if we were to play this location over here, we could take all 3 of the seals from the free thing, pay 1 to distribute one of them, use the discount to distribute the other one. No, we just don't. I need a coin before we can do that. And obviously, if we don't take the action now, there's a chance that we won't get it. Or we won't get it for free, at least, which would be a real bummer. It would also mean playing in my own lens, which reduces the likelihood of the AI giving us free actions. So where's the AI on the island? The AI went that way. We could, if we were to move on the island, we could step around. You can see there's a lot of branching paths here. We could go down and get access to a specimen, but I sure would like to play tents. There's a pretty good tent, so if we moved 2 spaces, we could jump on that tent. Yeah, I kind of want to play that, which we can't do right this second because we need a coin. Okay, so can we do something that will generate us a coin? Something decent. We could play somebody to take an objective. We have a space open in our reserve, and this one is something we're pretty close to. Although there aren't a lot of red specimens on the board, like right at the beginning of the other islands. You know, that's not terrible. Let's do that. Let's play somebody there. So we probably want to be able to move in the near future, which would probably mean saving the person with the... We certainly don't want to use the person who has 4 seals for getting an objective. We want to take advantage of that distinction. So, is it double blue or is it purple? I think I'm going to maintain the versatility. We'll do this. We'll take 2 coins. We'll grab an objective that I think we're going to be able to hit, and we'll put it in our reserve area. Okay, he did play the other book, which is unfortunate. Put down a couple of stamps. Okay, he did take the first player slot on that one. Inconvenient. And now the 2 coins that we gained doesn't help us play this because playing this space costs 2 more coins than it used to. So I think even more than before, that makes us want to move up, drop the tent, which will move our boat forward and get us past one of these scoring penalties. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to... I guess we don't really want to use our advanced worker for this because the +1... I mean, there's no benefit to using our advanced worker for this because the additional space doesn't do anything. It's already only 2 moves to get there. Yeah, I think we're just not going to be able to take advantage of our... not going to be able to take much advantage of our fancy worker this time out. That is a shame. I'm trying to figure out if there's another move that makes any sense here. We could use our temporary token to, like, treat you as though you have yellow, and then we could place 3 stamps. That doesn't quite get us another action, but it would let us, like, take first place on this again. And the thing that's nice about going from 1 stamp to 4 stamps is that because we're only losing half of our stamps from each envelope at the end of the round, that would mean that we'll have stamps here for the next 2 rounds. So we'll be continuing to earn money the whole time. And then that would leave us with the other worker with which to do, I don't even know what. Nothing, I guess, because this will cost us 2 coins, and then we will not... yeah, we will not have anything else to do. We'll just have to go get money again. It's a little grim, but I think there's something to it. Or, like, do we just go and get... Because we have some money, we can get a couple of seals in important places. You know what? Improving the function of our workers is good. Let's do it. Let's commit to this. So, we're definitely only taking 2 seals. If we take 2 seals from the first row, we can use our 1 coin and our 1 point of discount to push another one of our workers to 4 spaces, which I like a whole bunch. This is place a seal without paying or place a lens without paying the cost. Yeah, like what if we do this and this on the other 1 space? And then we can't afford to take advantage of the distinction here, but that gives us 2 pretty juiced up workers. Okay, continuing to deliver stuff to the museum. He is way ahead of us on that. I don't think there's a lot we can do about it, frankly. And then we just have a worker left who can't afford to go anywhere. Studying a thing that's already been delivered to the museum would allow us to take a red specimen and thus score this if we wanted to. So if we took this and we put it down here, select a previously placed tent and perform the associated actions again for free, that would let us put 2 stamps down. You know, that's not bad. I do think I rather like that. Or we could just take 3 coins and then have a whole bunch of money. But doing the stamps thing lets us take 2 more coins and also keeps our stamps alive on this envelope for longer. I do think I want to do it that way. So we're going to play the study something in the museum action, and I don't it should be the bird, because we have an objective that cares about birds. So okay, that accomplishes this goal. We'll put that right here and earn ourselves the reward from a tent again, which will I think let's take the stamps from what are we doing in the near future? It's gonna matter a lot less. Like moving our explorer, I think is gonna matter less in the near future. But I guess there's still a specimen here that neither one of us has gotten yet that could be delivered. Yeah, all right, let's take them from the stack that is where the bonus action is 2 spaces of movement. And I think, yeah, put them down right here. The upside from our perspective to the fact that Alfred is always the first player in the round is that because we have the same number of workers, we are always the last player in the round. So we can adjust the stamps after he's out of actions and thus guarantee that we have majorities. So Alfred gets some books. We get to take a wax seal at a 2-point discount. So, unfortunately, this does not let us place a 5th seal, at least not the 5th seal that we would want on anybody, because it would have to be this green one. But we can take a 1-cost seal and put it on her. I don't think we need to take another blue seal for that purpose, so let's take this yellow one and put it there. Being dead broke is rough. Okay. Then we get 4 coins from this correspondence reward, which is cool. Alfred gets some points. Yeah, we unfortunately we're really not doing well on the Beagle scoring. We got 4 points for meeting the objective once there, but then lost -1 and -2 for being way back at the beginning. All right, Alfred, where are you starting? Alfred is starting on stamps. Okay, so we don't have to do anything at all to get another seal and some money at the end of the round, which is, I think, a pretty okay place to be. how are we going to take advantage of our very good and cool workers? So, if we... I really hate that he played this book, because if we acquire a blue seal for this lady, we immediately get to fire this task. Or actually, if we acquire a red seal for you, that's a much more expensive proposition though. There's a blue seal on the top row. If we do a blue seal onto here at some point during the turn, we'll get to place a lens for free, and that means, you know, firing a high value action for free. I'm thinking probably this. We probably want to play this. What are the objectives that are out right now? Have at least 2 reptile specimens researched and be at space 9 on the book track. We're at space none on the book track. Have 15 points and 2 empty stamp stacks. 15 points is it's a little bit of a reach for us. We are not doing very well on some of these goals. All right, it's fine. We're going to be fine. We'll figure this out. So we could get a little bit of movement on the cheap. We could play a lens again. Yeah, next round's goal is 5. Next round's thing is 5 points for every lens token placed. And also, you know, obviously, it is worthwhile to get the actions for free. And we want to open up the higher value actions so that we can take them with our high value workers. So like placing the boat action here, I think is not unreasonable. We need to catch up. It's pretty important that we catch up. 3 spaces would let us get past the -1 and the -2. We'd catch all the way up to blue. Or we could try to get a little bit more money together and do a better lens. Yeah, I think that has some serious utility. So I think what we could do, let's go walking, because going walking will get us a specimen, and then we can do a delivery and make some money that way. Although this is the blue fossil, so we'll actually only make 2 coins. I mean, it's still something. If we could move a couple more spaces afterward, we could maybe get this bird, which would get us another coin. It's a lot of book track movement. Placing stamps or something like... Yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of like thinking to myself a lot here. It's not necessarily the most helpful to all of y'all. What is this? Perform all actions associated with a locked action. You know, now that we have a worker who has 2 yellow seals, we could fire our purple. We could spend our purple as a green to allow this action to run, and then we could do one of these further down actions. Unfortunately, that worker doesn't quite... I really wish we had the distinction on that. And obviously it's a thing we want to do before it becomes costly. This is really awkward. We always have the wrong worker with the distinction. Yeah, I think let's do that. Let's take you, play this action, which allows us to coinlessly perform one of these really big actions. And if we take the big stamps action, not only can we put ourselves in a really great position on one of the stamp stacks, but we will pick up all of the stamps associated with this movement, allowing us to move our worker onto that thing and sample it. I like that a bunch. Let's do that. So I'm going to take this action. We're going to pick up both of those and also 2 of these. So do we want to throw it down on here and just like claim primacy? I think so. I think that's better than like moving the book token forward obviously is worth points and everything, but I'm trying really hard to have enough money for the first game ever. And yeah, we're going to definitely move forward onto here. Okay. So we have a thing. You could see the board game arena implementation puts a little cube on the museum to indicate like which players have which things researched on their personal board, which is a nice touch. Something I appreciate. Okay, interesting. That means that this is still free to play on. So I think that we are going to. We would like to move 3 spaces to get onto this other specimen so that we can do the nice efficient double delivery. So if we want to move 3 spaces, we really got to play this one. Because that way we get the 3rd space from the silver distinction. Okay, a little bit more research done. Nope, he's picking this stuff up. We're definitely gonna want to deliver it now so that we don't get sniped. So yeah, make the delivery. We have enough money to pay for the second one here. So we're going to deliver this, which is going to get us 2 coins and also 4 spaces on the book track. And then we will pay 3 to deliver here, which will get us back 1 of the coins and gain us 5 more spaces on the book track. Okay, and we've gone from no points at all to a ×6 multiplier on museum scoring. I think that was worthwhile. And then it sure would be cool to move the boat. I think that is definitely the thing we are doing next. Okay, Alfred has given us a coin. Isn't he sweet? He's also gotten to move again because he's pushing up his bonus track, and Alfred gets so many actions. Always, always, all the time. Okay, so we definitely want to move our boat. Unfortunately, yeah, with only 6 coins, we can't unlock this because we'd have to pay 3 to play on this book since it's occupied, or 2 rather, and then we would only have 4 coins left. But if we just play here, we get, from our silver distinction, we get a 3rd space of movement, which is pretty valuable. Because this is going to let us cross both these thresholds. This is effectively, we're scoring 3 extra points now on every end of round goal. This is definitely some value. All right, so you get book track movement. Alfred takes a wax seal with a discount. We get a wax seal, just not discounted. But that's okay, actually. We have money. I think we're just going to go ahead and finish this. Right? Versus setting up the distinction here. Yes, I think so. And then, am I allowed to fire this now? So we have to assign the crew card to the worker. Okay, yeah, we're allowed to do this right now. So we're still prior to the Beagle scoring. So if we just move our ship up enough to catch up with the Beagle, we'll gain another 3 points effectively by not losing those 3 points. If we take the if we take this, if we put our lens here, we get 2 spaces of movement, which will put us here since we jump over the other player, and 2 spaces of boat movement, which wouldn't get us across the break, but would let us drop a tent off for a whole bunch of money. So we'll get an objective and 3 money here, and then it will be our second tent, which also gives you 2 money. That's not bad. What else could we do? We could do stamps, which would also get us the boat movement and thus the placement of the what do you call it? Words brain. The placement of the boat. I think I want this. I think I want this opened up because we want to be actually able to play this action in the future. So, our person runs over to here. Get 3 points from that. Our ship runs up to here. We place a tent. We get 3 coins and also 2 coins, and we get to take one of these objectives. Like, this is not meaningless. So we do have two stamp stacks empty already, and we'll get to 15 points eventually. We're gonna get 12 points, or well, we're gonna get 9 points in just a second here. So that'll cover a lot of the distance. Yeah, and just put it into the reserve. Actually, I think that's pretty good. Okay, then we get money. Look at that. This is the richest I have ever been. Okay, Alfred gains 9 points. We get 13 for... Oh, the purple seal counts. Okay. So yeah, that was... No, sorry, it's 4 points, not 3 points each. So it was 4 blue seals to 16 minus 3 is 13. And that actually did accomplish both of our objectives. It pushed us way, way up. That's really interesting. Okay, so none of the specimens that are still on this island are all of the specimens on the island have been delivered to the museum. So this bonus of researching any one specimen on an island with our explorer is not very good right now. This gives us 1 book multiplier. This removes the cost for the Academy scrolls. Which I do not hate, actually. But I'm wondering, like, I kind of think one of them maybe goes into the big lot of victory points one. Right? 5 points is pretty hard to beat. And then, like, I guess we save the money here. Right now, the museum multiplier is still the base museum score is still 2. So 1 book multiplier is worth 2 points. That probably won't remain the case, but I don't think this is going to be as valuable for us as saving money. All right, the Beagle moves up. It's going to be a good turn for scoring for us. We already have 3 lens tokens out, and we, might be able to even get another. We'll see. We have a lot of money to play with. Okay, he's racing to the end of the island. There are some fairly high value point spaces at the ends of the islands. I kind of want to just get our ship going and maybe start working on new islands instead. Let's see, what are the objectives that are out right now? 2 green seals and a green specimen. Not very good for us. Purple seals do not count for these. You have to actually have 2 greens. And this is have 2 birds and 2 lenses placed. We do have a bird, and we got the lenses covered, obviously. There is a bird on the next island. It's not infeasible that we could finish this if we get it, and there are some pretty good rewards related to the gold stuff. Okay, so I definitely want to move my boat forward. We would have to move only 2 spaces to get onto the next board. Actually, this is a place where we would really like to play this action, right? So Is there a way... I don't really see one. A way to pick up a purple seal for her. I guess finishing a gold objective would do it. But we were kind of hoping to get it done so that we could use it to accomplish the gold objective. If we could just pick up a temporary tile, that would be enough to let us play this. And to play it with distinction and get some extra payout. Or we could just pick up a red and a green for her. Right? We have the money to do that. It's not the way I would like to do it. I think it would be really valuable for her to have the purple. If we pick up the red, she puts the purple on herself. That's the answer. Okay. So somebody else needs to go to that site and do that, though. Because we need to have her available then afterward to play. Which is a little awkward. I suppose what we could do is send somebody to lens this site, right? Then we get our... Yeah, actually, let's do that for sure. So who do we want to do it? I might want to save Versatile Guy and just use you. So we'll place a lens here. We got plenty of money. I say we got plenty of money. This is an expensive action for sure. So we put down 5 coins for that. Then we're going to, using the 3-point discount, pay 1, 2, 3 to put this red here. Then we're going to cash in this action assigned to this worker. We're going to put the purple seal on that worker. And then we still have a normal no discount wax seal action, and we have 7 coins. Do I want to push you up to gold distinction, or do I want to push you up to silver? I don't want to spend all of my money necessarily, but for 3 coins, we convert you from 3 victory points to 7, and also get that fancy mode, and then we have 2 workers who are just like incredibly powerful and haven't yet taken their turn this round. That's gotta be it, right? So what do we want to tack on there? Do we want to make it a blue and just make you... Well, there's not really any benefit. The most blue seals that can be required for anything, for any of the actions, is 3. So we should put a different seal on you. So it's probably green, right? You already have a yellow. Yeah, let's make it green. We still have 4 money left. I think that's a very powerful action overall. Okay, putting down some stamps, taking first place away from us. Kind of annoying. And then you can now actually play this space because the purple counts as a second green. So we're going to do with silver distinction for 2 coins and gold distinction for 3 points. Fantastic stuff. We're going to move our boat forward 2 spaces, placing an explorer on this island, and then move our explorer on this island forward 2 spaces to acquire an unknown thing, to research a brand new guy. Delivering this is only going to get us 1 coin, but it's going to get us a ton of book movement. And obviously, I would like to pick up another thing to send to the museum before we do a delivery, if we can. Okay, Alfred's moving his ship as well. Getting a bunch of bonus movements. Okay, and getting his bonuses. So he's really moving along on the book track. Making the museum more valuable might actually be a mistake, because he's adding a point to the museum will cause him to score that 5 more times than we do. But we're also gaining book. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm not so concerned about actually delivering it. Picking it up can't be bad though, right? So what else do we want to do? Yeah, I might want to be careful about this because it looks like he is really like he has almost maxed out his multiplier already. Okay, we have one extremely powerful action and one less. Do I just want to I can't really boat, right? Like even with maximum distinction, this is only 3 boat moves because none of the boat spaces have been unlocked. The gold distinction here is we get to get the benefit of 1 additional space along the trip. In my case, what I would do is if we go to here, we spend the 1 coin, we get to place down a tent, get a point, place 3 stamps. Placing 3 stamps will run out our other stack and let us move 2 more times. And that'll cross the threshold up to here, and we'll effectively gain 4 more points. So that's a 5-point play that also gets us some stamp movement. It's expensive, but it's not bad. As opposed to, like, what else would you do? We definitely do want to use you for this because we want the 3rd point of movement. I'm not in a hurry to do that, though. That's, like, completely non-contentious now that the book is already more expensive. So what else is, like, what's our other play for the round? We could go get an objective. We don't have this yet, but we could. Is there a green? Yeah, there's a green specimen, like just ahead, actually. So we absolutely could finish this off. Not that it necessarily does a ton for us. I mean, there's still points to be earned, right? But we would rather be working gold objectives. It's just a shame that the Alfred took the gold objective off already. Or I guess, you know, what, we have enough money that they can both play on the books. For some reason, I was thinking that we didn't. So what would be the other book play then? I could gain seals. We could move our explorer. I could just play move the explorer magnifying glass with this guy. Because we definitely do want all 3 points of boat movement. So this would be a 2 move with this guy. I mean, I guess we could just go get that. Or we could place a tent for some books. And what does that tent do? It gives us 1 point of boot movement or 2 points of ship movement. Actually, 1 point of boot movement there would be pretty rad. It'd get us a temporary knowledge token. And we have enough ship movement to make it across anyway. Yeah, let's do that. I'll spend money. I'm cool with that. I think we're going to end up spending exactly all of our money. Oh, but I'm going to get 2 coins back too. Okay, so we will take that as 1 point of boot movement to here. Get us one of those purple tokens and also 2 coins, which is rad. And the action, I'm doing it this way so that we place this, the stamps after Alfred has taken his last turn and he can't mess with our majority. He can join us on the island. That's interesting. We now have the ability to, because of the purple thing, we could spend the purple thing to play this spot instead. Pay 2 money but get 2 money back and get 3 points, and play just move the boat 4 times Just run it over there manually. It doesn't get us the stamps though. I'm sticking to the plan. I like the plan. I might be wrong because it gives us 3 points to do it the other way from this. We end up with 3 points and 2 money. Whereas here we end up with a point and 3 stamps having been put down. And if we're using those stamps to, by book movement, I guess, try to catch up on this so that it's actually we might be able to. Now that he's on this island, it's going to be hard to keep him from completing rows. So maybe we just expect that the rows are going to get done no matter what. The museum's going to get valuable and just try really hard to catch up on book. Yeah, okay. All right. So I do like this plan better then because this gets us the stamps that get us the extra book movement. So we take stamps from here, and then once you have run out of stamps on your board, you can also take stamps from the stamps that have been moved off of stuff. We'll take 3 there. Oh, we placed a tent. Right, I forgot about that. So now we have an action where we can either place another stamp or place a seal at -2 cost. Hold on, we'll think about that. We're going to take the 2 points of boat movement. We know what the boat movement is. We catch up. We get over here. Okay. Then, yeah, do I want to place another stamp? Or do I want to take a seal at -2 cost and get distinction on our other person here? I don't know. It's hard to say. And it's hard to tell like what is going to be the right color of seal. We could place a blue or a yellow for free. I guess let's give you a blue. Yeah. Okay, so correspondence rewards. We get to move up the track a little bit, and we get to slow the amount that he's moving up the track, which is another thing that makes that valuable, actually. It's not a thing I was thinking about, but it is valuable. Okay, we don't get quite as much money this time. That is a shame. We do get 20 victory points from all of our seals, thanks to having caught up to the beagle. Or from all of our lenses, rather. Yeah, placing lenses. Really important, it turns out. Okay, Alfred's going to take the green space right away, and yeah, he's gearing up to make a delivery, so... Do we have objectives right now? We don't. The final round's scoring objective is 3 points for each achieved objective tile, so it is not unreasonable. He already dumped the gold one. What a jerk. It is not unreasonable for us to push for this. We do have 2 yellow seals. We do have a blue. Yeah, we'd be able to score this immediately. And then use it to take +1 book multiplier, since we have faith. I do like that. I think maybe that's right. If we move forward some, we can get the bird and finish these two rows. We're not that far behind. We're only 4 points behind here. Finishing the 2 rows would get us 6 and 5 would get us 11 spaces forward on the book track, so that would almost catch us up, actually. Plus, we're in position to gain more. Yeah, we can make this work for us. We can get ahead on the book track, I think. So is the play here this thing? Do we just immediately dunk? The flower's not what we want, though. We want to place the bird. Can we make that happen? I would need to move at least 3 spaces from the flower. It's like we could take the 2 and 2, stop here, and then move 3. We do have the ability to move 3. Oh, I really wish you hadn't taken that. You are such a jerk. Yeah, okay. I think that I'm going to commit this worker to this space. We're going to get a little bit of boot movement. We're going to get a little bit of ship movement. We're going to get some coins. We're going to get some points. It is overall just a really efficient action, I think. A little bit of a lot of things. So let's grab that. Actually, do I want to stop short? Because I don't intend to deliver that anyway, maybe what I do is I move to here, get more coins, and take that objective. Yeah. Sorry, let me fix this. Walk all the way forward. Get the objective tile. Put it in the reserve. Move the ship 2 spaces forward. This is not like super meaningful by itself, but... Okay, and we get this immediately. So, I could place it in position here to research a specimen on our island. We could just take the thing that I passed up, or we could take the bird and not plan to move forward any further. I think that's a better play, probably. Well, this is the last silver objective we'll ever get, though. So do I want to pass up the book? I don't think I do. If we're going for the hard museum play, I think I want to take the extra book multiplier. Also, there are 2 points on this and only 1 point on that, so that's something too. Okay, Alfred is placing a lens on that. Okay, placing a tent, getting some stamps. Yeah, he's trying to outrun us on that book track. I mean, you know, he's an inanimate object. He doesn't have intent, but you know what I mean. Okay, so now we want to take a 3-step move, which we can do with you, because you get 2 plus the silver distinction. Having people, yeah, this is the first game where I've had the people at the gold distinction level, and it's awesome. Focusing on red seals early has been really, really good to us. So I think I do just want to play this. I don't think I want to make it any more complicated, because we only need to move 3 spaces. Oh no, shoot, that's 4. I can't count. Undo. Sorry. It would cost us 2 plus 5 to buy the lens for this movement. I think we gotta. Hey, here's the thing I don't know. If we do the lens movement, if we place the lens, is it as though the worker were taking the action? Like, will I get the effect of my gold distinction? I do have the rulebook over here. Let's just take a quick look, shall we? I think buying a lens is like the first action it discusses, so... let's see here. talking about lenses there, but it's not. Here we go. This action. The active player may immediately perform all associated actions with this location without placing a worker and ignoring all wax seal requirements. Okay, so it is considered to be workerless, so we won't get our bonus. If that's the case, then I think I would rather play it with like one of these two. We'll keep our fancy worker for something a little bit better. Do I want to do it with the purple guy? I think maybe let's use this worker, because I don't know what colors we're going to need in the future. Oh, that's true. I could just play here instead of actually putting down the lens, with the benefit that we'll get our 2 coins back. I don't think it particularly helps me to have the space open, because we'll never be able to actually play in that space. We don't have anywhere near enough green. Yeah, let's do this then. We get our coins back at least. We perform this action, move our explorer the full 4 spaces, which does also get us some victory points. It's worth noting. I almost forgot about that, but that's definitely a reason to do it. Oh no, he's gonna deliver, you jerk. Well, all of a sudden our delivery is not efficient anymore. Now we're just getting the one thing. What an ass. I waited too long. That's on me. Okay, well, what do we still want to do with our ship? Because we have you for the museum delivery. I guess since I knew I was doing a museum delivery, I should use this guy for the whatever. So if I use you to play Boat Go Fast, we get to move 4 spaces, and we get to take an additional. We get to take a space somewhere along the way. So we could go 1, get this, 2, 3, 4, and end up on this side of the bonus. So we're effectively gaining 5 points. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. If we do this, we're paying coins. We're getting 5 points from placing the tent. And also we're getting 5 points from placing the tent. That's definitely it, right? Yeah, let's do that. And we will do the version of this. I need the full 4 movement, right? Yes, I do. So we will give you your point, Alfred, your coin, rather. Okay, so the ship moves to here. Placing a tent, which gives us 5 points and also a little bit of movement from an explorer. So this would let us take 3 book movement or 6 points, or it would let us research a specimen that doesn't exist yet and get 3 points. And then with our next action, which is going to be putting this down, we'll get more book movement. So when we put down the bird, we're going to get 6 book move, up to 20. If we had another thing to research, we'd gain another 5 up to 25, which is 2 extra points of multiplier. That's definitely it, right? Yeah, 3 points and 2 extra multiplier on what is going to be, the museum score is going to be 4. So 2 extra multiplier is 8 more points. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So you are just going to walk up to here. Oh, interesting. Right, that's true. I could go this way at the branch instead. There's no way that's better than the extra multiplier, right? And then the ship goes forward to here, earning me effectively 5 points, which is rad. All right, you play your final action, which is just spite, really. It's just spiteful. And then we're going to do this. So we deliver you for lots of book, and you for also some book. Yeah, and I think that's it. You know, I wasn't really considering what that was doing to his score because he's at X14. So we added 14 points to his score by doing that. But at the same time, we increased the museum bonus and increased our own multiplier by 3. It's definitely point positive for us. It's just not as many raw points as I represented it as being. And then we have 5 completed objectives, which is phenomenal for this. And I think that's it. That's the last action of the game. There's the correspondence rewards. That's true. He does go up 2 spaces, which doesn't actually change his multiplier. But if we had been on the 2 space, it would have changed our multiplier. So that's a shame that we didn't get that. He is way ahead of us going into final scoring. We get 12 points for our objectives, 20 points for our wax seals. Oh, it's very close. Alfred has 2 points of leftover resources. I have 1. And it is, in fact, a defeat. But I'll tell you what, that's a heck of a lot fewer than 100 points, isn't it? So, to get back to our final situation here, yeah, that is 169 for yellow, 172 for blue. So we were not paying attention to Alfred's methodology of scoring points or operating there at all. I didn't want to complicate what was already going to be a very complicated explanation of a game, but we will next video, because I'm planning on doing at least a couple of these. We will pay a lot of attention to his scoring, and I'm sure we can, like, you know, shave off some points when we know what we're doing. But yeah, that's pretty good. If I had managed to get 1 extra space on the book track, we would have scored an additional 4 points and been at 173. That's how close that was. It was a single book track away from a victory. I'm like really jazzed that went as well as it did. We got all of our tents out and we accomplished a bunch of objectives, and that was the first game I played of this where I didn't feel like I was chronically behind the whole game. I felt like we were doing cool and powerful stuff. It turns out getting seals is important. Who would have thought? All right, well, that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I am hoping that y'all are going to dig this. I'm feeling pretty energized. We're gonna do at least 1 or 2 more of these, no matter how everybody feels about it. So come back next time for, you know, some new random distribution, some new strategy, and a lot more focus on exactly what that robot's doing over there. And we'll see you then.